Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. How's everyone's weekend? Atlam, thank you for the confirmation. Rev, hello, hello, how are you? Welcome back to Mapmaker Monday. Hope you all had an amazing weekend. Rev, your weekend was good. Oh, you were good. That's good. Good. Glad to hear it. How am I? I'm wonderful. I'm a little tired. Tried to get caught up on some sleep over the weekend and feel like I failed at it miserably. DM Run, allo, salut. Like I said before, I hope you all had an amazing weekend. I did a bunch this weekend. Like, there's some weeds springing up because it's starting to be spring weather around my house. So I went through and like either pulled a bunch of weeds or sprayed a bunch of weeds with weed killer. And that's took several hours one day, and then I went around at the same time. I was like picking up trash and stuff because my house tends to like my driveway gathers it like a filter for the neighborhood where I'm positioned. My volume's a bit low. Weird. Try turning up the stream a little bit. Though I will say my voice is a bit tender at the moment, so I'm not talking as strong as I normally would. My apologies if it's a bit quiet. Let's see, what else did I do? Picked up a bunch like in my garage and just around the house in general. Getting prepped for a couple of projects I have coming up. And then did a bunch of measurements and kind of started like buying equipment I need for the job and whatnot. I've got, I feel like I just had like, well, I lost my voice last Saturday after the stream. And I've been recovering. And then yesterday, well, no, not yesterday, day before we last, we had a guest on the stream and my voice was struggling then. So it's just continual, like I haven't really recovered yet. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty boring adult weekend, just doing my adulting chores, cleaning up the yard, cleaning up the garage, doing little things around the house. The guide in my shower, my son's shower broke, so it's like a little plastic slide guide, and I have a spare one somewhere, so I need to go find that and reattach it. Oh, that sounds like a nice weekend run. See, I tried to take a couple of naps, but every time I did, I failed miserably. I did get some, quality time in with the missus over the weekend. We watched a couple of movies and just kind of hung out, when we could. So this map obviously is not a general store. It was the map that we finished up last Monday. I just wanted to highlight it one last time before we move on, and I was going to publish it on the workshop today. I have a little synopsis I wrote up for it. Over the weekend, I wrote something up for it based on kind of what we've been talking about on stream, because we built up sort of a headcanon for this location. This map is called the Bone Forge, which we started work on it at the beginning of January and finished it the last Monday stream. It pretty much is essentially a volcano that was formed at the site of a cataclysmic event during a massive battle like eons ago. An evil sorcerer cast a spell that was so powerful and devastating, it's been banned from people have been banned from using it and uttering its name, so it's been lost to time. And essentially, when it was cast, it made this volcano and killed millions of people who were on the battlefield and in the resulting eruption and pyroclastic cloud. Later on, a group of dwarfs that their ancestors were, part of this battle, they came to this site and discovered that the the lava here, the magma, has a very high carbon property. And so when you use it to forge, steel or whatever in metallurgy, you can make incredibly resilient blades and, armor and whatnot. So it's very rich in carbon content because it's essentially been in contact with all of these bones for millennia, slowly scoring away at the piles and piles of bodies that formed the hills and mountains in this region when the volcano erupted. So they discovered there was a fissure under the volcano that led under the volcano, where they built it out into a kind of small forge that over the years the ancestors and whatnot have taken advantage of. And they've made a variety of, different items here. And it's the only place in this realm where you can find and forge a metal that I have coined Damantium. So when you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it's a DAM file, a .dam file. And so kind of leaned into that a bit and made a new metal called Damantium, which kind of is basically Damascus steel. So blades of Damantium are so tough, they don't blunt even when they're hit against solid rock. And armor made of Damantium is immune to all bludgeoning and piercing and slashing damage. Excuse me. Cat fur just landed right on my nose. Just got to get rid of it before I breathe it in. So this here is where they, heat up crucibles in this sort of I'd say, forge/religious space. And there's a heat shield here, spell protecting this area, which is where they work on the metal. And then they have to take, heat shield potions to protect themselves. Excuse me. So, little last tour before we, move on to the new map. I think I'm going to just sync these a little bit. Make them look more dwarven. That looks pretty good. A little final touch. Anyway, so I've gotten this kind of all sorted out with like a backstory, which we kind of carved out while we were making the map. During the last stream, we added this rail, which I think is a nice little touch. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoy this map because it's going to be on the workshop shortly. Set this to public and let me copy over. Cool. We got it all there. Let's publish it. That's smart. Yeah, I could start adding it. Probably update the picture later because I didn't even think about it. It looks pretty good as is, though. I'd like the idea of showing both of those. So you can see there's kind of a path. Yeah, honestly, it turned out pretty good. Usually, if you don't pay attention, it's pretty bad, but it turned out pretty good. I ended up centering a lot of the content right around the, the center of it anyhow. Okay, so the Bone Forge is good. Let us start our new map, which I've been kind of trying to decide. Here, let's just go to Dark Parchment while we think about it. So, hear me out. I want to make a general store. Here's the thing, though. If I put it in like a city, then I'll feel kind of obliged to make like the whole city block and a bunch of different things, which is going to take forever. I'm thinking of putting like a general store that's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Like, like a little like last shop for thousands of miles, or, I don't know what to call it. Kind of a hole in the wall type shop in the middle of the forest or whatever. It's like between two areas on a well-traveled road. I liken it to like the last gas station on like a really, barren old highway or something, but it's not a gas station in this case. That's kind of the vibe I was going to go for, but hey, McLeod, how you doing? Welcome back. Though I'm open to suggestion. Last stop for gas, right? Right, Jim? By the way, it seems like today's stream on Twitch so far has been good. I'm knock on wood. There's been no, crashes thus far today. So hoping that holds. Alrighty. Well, I could put it in a desert, or near the edge of a desert. Or we could put it in a forest or in a swamp. I'm trying to think of a setting location. And I'm thinking of calling it like something Outfitters. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, McLeod. Honestly, I love so much that, there's such a vibrant community of, GMs, DMs, map makers as a whole. Here on Twitch and other platforms. There's quite a few DMs who use the product here, either to just make maps and share the process, or obviously hosting their, campaign using Dungeon Alchemist maps. And I feel so blessed to see such a, an active community here. We try to essentially make sure that we support our active content creator community as much as we can. And the thing is, we're all content creators in the Dungeon Alchemist community, as, DMs, GMs, map makers, cartographers, if you will. But when people are willing to share that content, on Twitch and TikTok and YouTube and otherwise, I really do appreciate it. I try my best to watch, all the content out there and give it a thumbs up. Or, subscribe when I can, or, whatever, upvote, whatever it is. So we do appreciate, your DM streaming DA, and Chim, I appreciate you making videos and content of DA, and such a fun, active community we have. Bremen, how you doing? Damn busters. So, okay, first and foremost, I need to create the map on the biome that I want. So I need to think about this for a moment. If it's going to be wilderness, it could be at the edge of the Badlands, right? I don't do many maps in Badlands, so I think I might use it. To be honest, we are a small indie, developer company. I mean, most of the map making tools are, save a couple that were big company supported. But that being said, we kind of were late to the game, so to speak. There's a few tools out there that had a few years on us. So they definitely have a bit of a bigger following and more content, so to speak. But I think our community is growing rapidly, and our content support is growing rapidly between the amount of shared maps available and assets shared on the workshop. There's over now 26,000 total between assets and maps. So, I mean, it's insane how much content there is shared by our community. Um, that said, I don't really see other map making tools as competition, more as complementary. They all have their strengths and their weaknesses. You know, some are better at like regional and world maps, overworld type style, much, you know, than we are. Some are better at, varying things. You know, some are ideal for like a simplistic hand drawn style. Some are better at 3D, like we are. You know, and some are simplistic and easy to use, and some are harder to use. They all kind of have their different ups and downs. And I think as DMs, it's nice to have, you know, several tools in your tool belt to be good at map making, or, you know, good at DMing as a whole. You know, you may have some tools for sound and music, and some like a virtual tabletop, and maybe some modules or plugins or add-ons for it, a map making tool or two or three. You know, Moose, I love that. I love that. See, I grew up, well, when I grew up there, it was kind of a smaller town, and then it became much larger over the years. And that area is now just blown up as far as population and like travel and the amount of people that go there every year. But I loved, you know, nearby there would be these even smaller towns that would be like that even more, where there was just like one store in the town, right? And that store, a lot of the times, many of them are still in business, like a mom and pop shop that have been like pretty much the main like lifeline for items for years for these people. They still compete a bit against big box stores and other places, you know, nearby, because they don't want to put a big box store there because it's not a good enough investment for their company, right? And Amazon still, they compete against them too because they don't get as many rural deliveries. Brainstorm cat, right? Okay, so I'm gonna do Badlands. I like the Badlands idea because it can be a little bit of everything. I'm kind of thinking of putting a shop like in a canyon, like at the base of a canyon, or maybe at the top of a canyon. So it's like something of that degree, that, or it is like a very vast flat plain, you know, that is sort of like nothing for miles. You just see nothing but like, you know, maybe some rocks and cacti and shrubs. So it feels very barren beyond this point. What if it's at the top of a mountain? I mean, it seems like it'd be kind of hard to get to and be useful if it's at the top of a mountain. Wouldn't it be? Well, what I'm thinking is the shop is more like it's the last stop for hundreds of miles. You know, so if a lot of travelers pass through this area as like there's a road that goes between, you know, two realms or kingdoms or whatever, and, or, you know, whatever, countries. But this shop is kind of at the border, at the edge in one of the countries, you know, and so you kind of like shop there before you leave or shop there as you come in. The other thing too is I kind of want to give it like a little touristy corner vibe too. So people buy like items that are like just BS, but also it has lots of cool stuff. This junk, yeah, like, yeah, junk. Like it's a bunch of like tourist junk. Like it's, you know, postcards and like stuff with names on it and, you know, snow globes and little things like that. Shirts that like I shopped at the edge of the Badlands or something that says on it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Gosh, I think my chair is breaking. It keeps tipping forward. I have to like adjust it like 6 times a stream. It's sad because I love this chair. Yeah, something like that. It needs to have tourist trap type stuff, like the world's biggest ball of yarn or something, right? The realm's biggest ball of yarn. I don't know. Something dumb like that, though, also there. So I kind of want to have that sort of like Mystery Shack type vibe from Gravity Falls. You know, sort of like a tourist trap type thing from like a vacation type movie meets, you know, also might have a few magic items that are maybe be cursed or maybe useful, and also some good stuff that you need to travel with, like backpacks and food and whatever. There might even be an inn there. I'm kind of vibing with this idea though now. Yeah, we could make some sort of beast. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like, y'all understand the vibe I'm going for with this build? I hope, at least. Bremen, have you had a chance to check out the latest update? I know last we spoke you hadn't had a chance to. Robert Richardson, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Trying to think of what type of vegetation to have. I'm thinking cacti. There will be no water. Or there could be a bit of water right by the place, like an oasis. But it'll likely put the oasis central of the map, no matter what I do. I got an idea. Let's make the map smaller. Right? Maybe even 30 by 30 or something. And then we'll put an oasis in it. And then I'll stretch out the map to be larger. You know exactly what I'm talking about then, Chim. Like, okay, here's the thing too. I grew up like in a place, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of like Zion National Park, right? In in the United States, in Utah. I grew up near there. Oh, cool, Torrent Stormbringer. Nice to know. Nice to know. So essentially, there were lots of gift shops like that sold like rocks, crystals, antiques, all sorts of like touristy items with images of the region. I appreciate it. I do appreciate the ideas. I want it to have kind of some of that vibe, like it's just like junk, really. Like people are buying, you know, like tourist junk. And then at the other end of it is like actual general store stuff and maybe a few magic items. And that's it. Okay, so let's generate this to start terraforming it. First things first. Oh, I'm loving that oasis. That looks good. I'm going to save this. And let's go to my damn repository. Mapmaker Monday. I never made a folder for the Bone Forge, so that one there. And then we'll make a new folder. Oops. I guess I made 2 of them just now. Let's come up with a fun name for this. It's going to be the name of the shop. We could call... did someone mention the last drop earlier? I like that. It's kind of an interesting idea. We could also just use that as a placeholder until we maybe come up with a better one. Knew that looked incorrect. Dungeon town complete with fake dungeon. Oh, Torrent. How have you been, by the way, my friend? Okay, so what I'm going to do, first off, is I'm going to expand this map kind of sort of away from this oasis, which will be the sort of edge where we'll have the shop is kind of up in this corner. What just happened? I accidentally let go, I guess. Didn't take too long at all. Dang, the Badlands biome is smooth. Okay, let's save that. Usually the oasis is kind of centered in the terrain generation, and I wanted it to the side, kind of up in the corner. And then the rest will just be, you know, sparse Badlands beyond. Though it does feel kind of too big now. Maybe I'll reseed it to like 40 by 40. Don't want a lot of dead space in your maps, right? Looks pretty good. YouTube's going to have about a 10 to 20 second delay, most likely. Twitch will be the best. Facebook will vary. Twitter will vary. Steam will likely have a little delay. Most platforms don't have like sub-second like transmission. Only like Twitch typically does. This floating cactus, though, is an anomaly. There's a few of them. We're gonna have to go find them. Interesting. There's a lot of floating cacti. Weird. Only appears to be in that one area, too. Oh, no, there's a couple over here. We'll see. Anyway. Hopefully it's just like a fluke. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we'll kind of build the shop here. And I'll have kind of a road come into here. And we'll put up like some stables and like a little... Like, what are those things for tying off your horses? Your mounts? Like a pole. Can't remember what it's called. Anyway. Where's Highland Lass when you need her? The horse thingy, clearly. So... Oh, nice. Steeple? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I knew what you meant, Robert. I just searched it, and if it is that we don't have it, named it, or don't have it, that might be a call. Let's just search post. Might even just have to make one from scratch. I don't know if we have one. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Yeah, maybe we could do a bridge crossing over, but I like to think this is the last source of water for like hundreds of miles as well. So that's why he set up here, like this shop was set up here. So maybe they kind of clearly go around it. Like people camp here, but they also use the shop and stay at the inn attached to it. I mean, usually when you have a well in the middle of a desert, it's not heavily guarded per se. But yeah, maybe they sell the water like access, so it's like allowing you to, yeah, probably. Anyway, so let me think of how I'm going to shape the structure here and which building I'm going to use. I don't want to use, well, let's see, let's use a desert something probably. Let's see what we get with this. I do like those walls. Y'all, I need some advice actually when it comes to prestidigitation. So my wizard has this spell, this cantrip, but I also, have the cartomancer feat, which allows me to cast the spell while using like sleight of hand to distract. So it essentially makes it seem like I'm not really doing vocal and somatic components. So I'm thinking of fun ways that I could do this, like obviously like card tricks and like, fortune telling. But I'm open to suggestions. Ooh. So I feel like they set up shop here because the water, so everyone has to come here, right? So as a result, they kind of end up shopping here by default. Like people will end up getting stuff here and he, pops up the prices. Does he own the land? Probably not. So I see them as opportunistic, not so much greedy. But like, hey, they'll sell the plots to pop up a tent, camping spots, and they, have set up stables and they have an inn. So it's like you're more inclined to spend your money with them than to camp. Well, hopefully the Steam platform's getting better. It does look a lot more crisp on Steam today, too. I don't want to jinx it. I like that. Let's expand off of this. Just a heads up, if you try to draw in the space adjacent, it'll sink it down, right? Where it's water level. But if you start right next to it like that, where you pull from it, it'll raise up the foundation to match automatically. Isn't that neat? I kind of just pulled from here to start before I did it. So it's like, oh, this is the foundation you want to match to height-wise. Okay, so I'm trying to think of how to shape this. I definitely don't know if I want to do this square. I want to make it kind of funky looking and interesting. So I'm a hospitality halfling. Are you talking about my character? Or the person running the shop? What I was thinking is we'll probably have like a deck overlooking the oasis. Oh no, that was a mistake. Womp womp. But something like this looks nice. We can bring it in closer. Oh, Robert. Interesting idea. If I raise it up, we can have it be above the mesas on stilts. Interesting suggestion. Would it be wooden then, though, or would it still be something like an adobe, like, you know, made out of stone or, you know, sandstone or mud hut type sitch? Thing is, to make this work right, where it's raised up, I can't just raise it up manually like that. Yep, I know. I'm going to have to make a false floor. So this shape is unfortunately going to die. What we'll likely do is put the staircase as a lower area that comes up to it, and then it'll be stilted. Maybe even over the water a bit. Does that make sense? So I think I'm going to do a wooden one. Just trying to decide which one. Wonky might actually be a good idea because it's just whatever wood he could scrap and use. Yeah, I like that idea. Amanda, oh, I understand that. I get it. Being on a, you know, a limited income, and it makes it hard to get, you know, stuff like Dungeon Alchemist on, you know, especially where there's a price attached to it. I get it. So yeah, we do have sales from time to time. We also have a demo that's a free kind of stripped down version of Dungeon Alchemist that allows you to get a feel for it at least. So you can play in the forest biome and make yourself a tavern, get familiar with it. That being said, um, I think the next sale, I'm trying to think when it'll be. It's the Steam spring sale, whenever that is. Atlam, can you look up a date for that? We'll likely be invited to that sale. So far, as long as I've been with DA, we've been invited to all major like spring, summer, fall, and winter sales. So, Robert, I like that idea for sure. We might do something like that. Though, in order for me to do the raised thing, I gotta do something else entirely. I'm gonna have to make like a false floor, which is likely gonna be a staircase coming up to this. I think I want to use this kind of natural channel here. Something right there. I'm gonna raise this up a bit, so it's more at like the ground level. I should have generated that without a wall. It's okay. We'll regen it without a wall. Or I'll just delete the walls. Womp womp. Whoop. And I'm going to put a staircase here leading up, right, to the next floor, where we start doing the... It's a good suggestion. Good suggestion, Jim. Steam Spring Sale is March 19th through the 26th, so that'll likely be the next time we're participating in a sale, if we do. Let's look at some staircases. I want to pick me a good one. This one could be fun, because it's outdoors, but then we also could have fun with like the driftwood ones. Is there a wonky stair? I'm pretty sure there is. Heck yeah, there is. And I'll change the floor in a bit to be more, well, no, let's do it right now. We could do natural to make it like a dirt path, right? That kind of got stamped out and hardened. Or a mud. That said, it's probably better to just do like some wood. There's some ruined. A little bit lighter color there. Wonder if there's a floor that really just matches that tan. Will you seriously not have a wonky floor? There's also these logs. That looks kind of neat. And also put some stone. Okay. Multi-level is definitely fun, but also if you want to do it like in a certain way, it's tricky, right? So look, we got a roof we got to get rid of for sure. So what I'm thinking of doing is just like a smaller balcony here. It's like kind of the entry. So we kind of start here with like a little balcony. Curve it. That's looking good. And I'm going to put some walls on there, but we're going to make them half like fence walls, so it's like a banister. Pretty sure there's one that's the wonky banisters. I'm going to kind of mix and match these around. Same one there on both sides. Pretty good. What do y'all think? So we've got an outer kind of balcony area. Thinking one of those like wooden bears that's like carved sitting on the front. That's like got the little hands popped up like this. Okay. Now, if we want, we could have it going up even taller, right? Which would be an interesting idea at this point. Because I could have another stair going up from this, right? Because we could just extend this out a little bit and then put a stair going up from here. Another one of those. And I could put more walkway here, or like, you know, banister or whatever. Forgotten Death, how you doing? Or we could do it in another direction entirely. Something like this. Yeah, you haven't seen me since last year. That is quite the dad joke, my friend. How are you doing today? So I think we'll have a part of the shop here, and then above will be where the inn goes to the top. Maybe a little tavern at the top. That stupid canopy. Let's generate this and see what it looks like. Ooh. Put a door here. Come on. I'm liking what we got so far. Though there is going to be something under here as well in this space. So, Cactus, you're going to go. I think this will be either like in like a couple of rooms and like a tavern and stuff. And then the shop will be below, or the shop will be above, and then the rooms will be below. How you been, Forgotten Death? What you been up to? Back just popped. Felt good. So I think I'm gonna trade out those walls here. By the way, I haven't saved in a hot minute, so we'll save. Don't like this door being so thin, so I'm going to make this be some of these walls. Oop. I want to change them all, just a couple. By the way, I should probably favorite these, because I might be using them throughout the build. More balcony. Oh, you posted something? Let's take a look. Oh, dang, cool. That's really cool. That's very cool, Moose. I just checked it out. Let's favorite these two so I don't have to look for them every time I need them. Okay. So we have some scary balconies here. Which I find rather neat. Put a door here. I really wanted to use that one, so now we can. Looks like it's in the middle. There's going to be support beams under all this when we're done. I'm just kind of starting, and there's going to be another structure here for sure. I'm just kind of going up and making it look wonky and weird and sideshow. You know what I mean? There's probably going to be a balcony, or even extend this balcony out so it goes around the outside. We'll see what happens here. Let's start with the second floor here. I'm liking that. And then we can take the same door we just used and put one here. Good. Okay. I will say this, though, the structure is starting to look really cool. Uh-oh. What I'll likely have to do is break this into several rooms. Good, yeah. I was just going to break this up into segments. Not even sure why that added that roof there, or wall. But for the benefit of this is I can remove these. But now it's a bunch of different rooms. Still didn't help. It's funny, the second it's a separate roof, it's a problem. Probably just make this a flat room up here. Why is it this all of a sudden gives it a problem? That's obnoxious. Yeah, I know that the order of operations is definitely important. It's just frustrating how this particular shape is just not giving way. Funny, if I do two separate roofs, it's just struggling with. Oh, what the hell? That is so odd. That is so infuriating. It's the only way. Alternating, making it look different. Otherwise, it always looks the same. Looks good. Hey, Fox, welcome back. We're going to add some windows and stuff too. Might even extend this balcony out a bit. We'll see. And put a balcony here. But yeah, this could be a place for like a rooftop garden or a, clotheslines or whatever. Yep, we'll take care of that in a moment. Though it being covered does look nice. Could put some pillars. You know what I mean? Like a watchtower even. Let me see what it looks like. Yep, exactly. Pillar. Just like one of these beams might work. Something like that. But we'll see. Let's just look at everything under wonky, see what comes up. Want to take advantage of this, where I can. Little patches of walls might be fun on the walls. Yeah, I'm going to look and see if there's... yeah, we got some. Hey, knock it off. Something like that on each corner. Looks pretty good. And I can even rotate another one in it. So it's like even more weird. Pretty good. But yeah, I do agree with the sentiment that, shade is important in the desert. It's technically not a... Fortunately, I can't just delete a section there. I'm gonna figure out how we can do up a level. What I'll likely have to do is on this floor, generate a room that is... Oh, it's floor 3. No. No walls and no flooring. Probably will delete that staircase. But if we're lucky now... Are you freaking kidding me? Alrighty, never mind. I know what I'm doing wrong. Needs to be floor here regardless. And now there'll be a roof there. I get it. Alternatively, you could do something like this. Something like that. Then I could put another pillar there. Wonky. So I'm raising it like a sliver. So that way it doesn't move down below or into another axis accidentally. Just kind of my way to get this to cooperate with me. I'm also feeling like I should size up this rock a little bit so it's like part of the foundation for it. Too big. And we will put pillars underneath too. But yeah, this is shoddy at best, my friends. I love it though. It looks cool. We need little, patches too. Why in goodness is it not appearing outside? Is it only inside? Just jumping down a floor? Yep. Yeah, you're right. I love it. That's cool. Alrighty. Oh no, did I accidentally delete one of my pillars? Probably when I generated this. It's not the end of the world. We'll quickly regenerate them. Fix it up. And then we'll quickly save. So we kind of got the general kind of structure of the shop, which we're going to need to add, support beams anywhere we can underneath, and also, like here, support beams here, support beams coming down onto the mesa, probably a little balcony here, I'm thinking, extending this out. Just kind of wanted a separate room, which... It will not let me do a diagonal cut on this corner. So I'm thinking of just leaving it boxy. What do you think, like a little balcony? Or is that too far now? Kind of liked it to there. Let's just see what this does. The roof still works. That's impressive. Okay, I'm going to leave it because I like that it is working. Go to the walls. We'll go to favorite walls. Thought I favorited all three of those. You wonky son of a... Yep, I see that. Probably gonna have to just wait to do pillars till the end. Because this thing is so weird. It's gonna... You know what I mean? Though I think it's looking pretty cool so far. I like what we got. You know what I mean? Sad the steeple's missing on this one. It's okay. Wonky's wonky for a reason. It's looking really good, though. Let us save. Assessing my options here. I think I'm just going to stick with the wonky ones because they look cool. So, question. Do I extend them to make them like as big as they need to be underneath, right? Or that makes them look larger, right? Or do I stack them so they're the same thickness as the other ones? Well, there's going to be like a path down to it. But a bucket sounds interesting. Let's try stacking them at this side, okay, to see what they look like compared to the large one. Sad part is they do not stack on each other easily, so I'm going to just have to manually do it. Not the end of the world, though. So, big support pillars. Thank you, Artful Darkness. Or thin support pillars. Both are ramshackle as hell. So, this headset I've had for almost a decade now, so I don't think you can get this exact one, but there's probably a newer model of it. It's actually the second one of this exact model of headset I've gotten. Hold on one second, let me look it up. Now, I'm going to warn you, they are not cheap. Whoa, my power just flickered. So the headset you're looking for is an Astro A50. So in the past, the older models had auxiliary inputs in, and that's why I like them in their base station. So it has a base station to charge the headset, which has a battery built into it. And the older units, you could hook them up to your computer, and it looks like you can hook them up to your computer, your console, and your different consoles. So Xbox, PlayStation, and computer, all through USB now, it seems. So in the past, they had a different base station that had auxiliary on it. So you could essentially use that. They have a Astro A50 light speeds. Let's see what the differences are. So this one has HDMI in, and that's impressive, actually, because HDMI would carry the audio as well. So they've advanced them, but now they've done away with aux. So I'm assuming it has multi-in, multi-out still. You may need to look into it. But this is an older headset that I don't know they sell anymore. I basically have been buying Astro headsets for close to 20 years now. I bought my first Astro A50s at Best Buy in probably 2008, 2009. So close to 20 years I've been using Astro headsets. And then that headset, the A50, had a base station like this, had the in, out. I used it for, 8 or so years, and then the battery died. And at the time, I was getting donations through my stream, and I was able to raise enough money to buy this set. This was before I did, Dungeon Alchemist streaming. And then I bought this set, and then I've been using it ever since. They last forever. That's what I love about them. Yeah, the thing is Astro not only is a good brand, they make really good quality headsets that last forever. The thing is, though, they were bought out by Logitech in the last 10 years or so, and so things have changed. But Logitech is usually pretty good as well. So Logitech's buying up all the good brands. They own Elgato now and Streamlabs, and you know what I mean? Anyway, but I like these. The newer ones have this as well. You can pull off the cushion and replace them. They have magnets, so you could get different ones later or clean them easier. They're really nice. But if it, I mean, they cost a bit of money, but they'll last you, you know, forever. Oh, Elgato's owned by Corsair. My bad, Bane. My bad. I thought Elgato was owned by them, but doesn't sorry, Logitech own Corsair, or am I mistaken on that? Maybe I've got it backwards now. I don't know. Nope, I'm wrong. Never mind. Maybe I had them mixed up for some reason. Either way, Astro, good product. Really enjoy it. So the reason I was able to make this kind of floating structure is because we put one ground structure. So we use that to our advantage here. Granted, this doesn't even have to be this many tiles. It could be one tile that you hide under a rock somewhere off to the side. Gotcha. You know, maybe I was just mixing them up for some reason. Okay, back to the pillars here. Which one? Big, strong pillars for the decks and underneath, or thin, wonky? They're still wonky either way, but one looks a little bit more stable. Let's get a vote, fam. How you doing, Bane? There's a cat fur right at the edge of my eye. I'm thinking the space underneath could be stables. You know what I mean? Like we could put a stable area underneath. Little bit of both, okay. So this area underneath, we could totally make it into another room and make it stables, and it would just be like just the ground and like the support beams, or like walls that are like support beams. That could be cool. So that means we will have to get rid of some of this to allow an area into it, like a road that goes under. I'm not against it though. This map is already turning into an interesting build. I'm really excited to see how it pans out. I might extend out the sandbar a little bit. It's not necessarily incredibly secure being built on a sandbar, so to speak. Oh man, I'm loving this so far. It's looking good. Probably extend out this little area as well. We'll find out a stone that we want to use. So far, I don't like the match of that. We might pick something else. It's more a placeholder than anything. Anyone have any other suggestions for this build as to which direction we should take it? I'm liking what we have, and I think the underneath space should be like stables. So I'm thinking we'll look for a wall like these ones. The foundation walls will look good around the bottom. Or some of these arcade walls mixed in with wonky walls to make like stables. Weathered wood for foundation walls, that could be cool too. Let's go down to level 1, which is right here. Yeah, it will. I'm going to wait to add those Volkahar until later because we've noticed as I add them and make adjustments to the roof and flooring, they get deleted really quickly. So I kind of just put a couple and then move on because I'm mostly done in that area. Like up here, I've had to re-add these a couple of times. Yeah, so I'm going to wait. Order of operations is usually best to make your flooring and walls and then do, objects. Because some of the multi-level like walling stuff gets a little, let's just say, a little aggressive in what it deletes around it. So I'm thinking this area over here, like underneath, will be all the stables. They've been researching why it happens more than anything. Once they discover why, they'll likely try to fix it. But it has been reported as an issue. Yeah, most likely is the case, I'd imagine. Notice how when I did that, it's like sinking down to the actual water height and it's having trouble because we raised the foundation up to start. So I'm going to start from here and then pull over. And now the foundation's the exact same size. Oop, don't want to rotate that. Or the exact same height, I should say. Trying to figure out how to use this space best. So what I'm thinking is we'll pull this in. Even pull that in. Make these little diagonal cuts wherever we can. And then we'll generate this, which we're going to change the floor to be all like dirt and stuff. It'll be stabling. So it'll be a combination of like dirt and hay and whatnot. So let's just make it like stamped earth for now. We'll change it slowly. So let's go to our wall tool. Actually, I'm going to save because it's been a minute. Save twice just to be nice. And then we're going to look at some of these wooden walls. Something like that looks fun. Look at it from the outside. Like just wooden foundation. But I think I'm going to go with these ones. Maybe even thin them out once in a while. It won't be everywhere, just some parts. I'm gonna put some of this now and then we'll change it. This is like the support beams holding up the floor above. And then we're gonna make some of it wall as we go through. I'm probably gonna make a path going around this side. So we'll get rid of this stone or pull it to the side here, kind of flatten this out. One way or another, there's gonna be something coming through here. Like with a door. Arch, some sort of fence, gate. Oh man, I'm actually loving that at the moment. Might extend this patio out and then we'll just kind of leave the roof as like a square or something. Not have roof on this side, or just keep the roof going out to the edge. Either way, we'll play with this in a bit. So I'm going to add like little areas to be stables in parts of it. And those areas will be more sealed off on the outside, not all like support beams. Hey. Hey, Dyson. So I'm making kind of like a general store in the middle of nowhere. So I'm probably just going to change this. Not have the support beams underneath anymore. Just like the idea of it having like open air where breeze could come through, so it wouldn't be hot as all down here. So think of it as like the last shop in the middle of nowhere for like hundreds of miles, right? And then in here, I'm going to need to kind of section it off. So we'll have like, this will be one set of stables and this will be another. And maybe a third. Hey, see you later, Mondu. Thank you for being here, brother. I mean, if you're not able to enter this time, it's no big deal, brother. But I get, like, I would very much love it if you did. I'm gonna look for the freestanding version of that. Darn it. You as well. Wow. See, that is so insane that it's trying to get rid of these. Nowhere near it, even. That's insane. Okay. Infuriating. So I'm splitting these with freestanding walls so it doesn't put a pillar in every break, right? Or every section. But I used regular plank walls so I could put doors because I want to put like gates on these. So I'm thinking of putting like a larger gate on these ones, right? I do like these kind of gates though. Let's rotate them back out and see which way they work here. Highland Lash, should they open into the stall or outward from the stall? What's the more natural? Outward? Okay, I'll trust your judgment on that. We also could... Nah, that'll get rid of it all. Very cool. Should I have taller walls in these sections separating the animals, or the half walls okay? I've got everything small, medium, kind of large. I think I had these split too, so I could fit more, so I'm going to do that. And then I was thinking of putting like a little room here with a window that's like a guy that manages the barn. We could even have a little room back here with like hay and other stuff, some barrels and some stuff. Taller walls in between. Okay. But like shorter in the front so you could see them. Hmm. You know what? Maybe I'll use the wonky ones. Oops. So weird. I didn't realize I had to put a regular wall there. Stable's looking pretty good though. Well, I'm gonna have one here for a guy that like sells access. Like he has like a little booth here, like a little booth, right? Just big enough for him to kind of sit in and look out this little hatch that'll be here. So I'm gonna put like a hatch. If there is, do we have a window that has a hatch, or only doors? I feel like we only have doors with a hatch. Let's look at the windows. Something like this. Could do one of these. Yes. That looks perfect, actually. I wish we had a wooden kind of version of that with like bars or like a hatch that they could open. And I know we do, but I don't know. Let me look again. That also works. The wonky bay window. That one's really perfect for that. I'm going to lower this, by the way, and make like a little path here. So this will all look good in a bit. We'll extend out to here to have like a little area with some hay, or you can make one of these that instead if we need to. I was thinking each loose box, so the animals can see each other. I thought you don't want them fighting. Yeah, I might change that to wonky walls. Though I like having some distinction. Yeah, see, I don't want it to be that nice here. You know what I mean? Think of it as like this guy, the person made it with whatever they could find. But I am hating these the walls not matching wonky all of a sudden. Okay. Executive decision. And now door to match. It kind of slopes, right? I wish there was wonky like half walls. I don't think there are. Kind of have these like banisters. That's true. They do have gaps, huh? I got to put some back here, by the way, because I messed it up. And yeah, I'll extend it out here a little bit. Okay, so we have a base floor, which is stables, right? And we have all sorts of stable sizes. Here at Stable of Stars. And then we have an above ground level where you start getting into, you know, the shop, which I'm thinking is going to be this level. And then up top will be the inn. I need to finish or fix this now. I like it that there's a balcony all this way now, actually. And we can extend these pathways here using these bad boys. Oh, wait. These are actually not objects. Those are half walls. Okay, we were using the real walls here. Pretty sure I favorited those earlier. So I started with... Okay. We've got a balcony, which I kind of want to make the whole balcony come over to here and leave this as open. But I don't want to ruin the roof. So I need to separate this into a separate room down here. Now there'll be... Hey, look at that. Looks good. Whole covered balcony. I'm going to put some chairs and stuff there. I know you are very particular, and I appreciate all your insight. Honestly, it does help having your knowledge. Kicking that knowledge our way. Look at all the walls I ruined by doing that. Almost pays to wait to do this stuff till the end. Another reason we need the lock feature, just so we can lock objects and they don't disappear accidentally, right? Would this gate open inward or outward? I kind of feel like it would be the other way, because then you'd see all this, like this stuff on it. Interesting. And what would the larger ones be? Thinking of just making a little shed back here with like some hay bales and like, you know, some barrels and some tack and stuff like that. Do you think that would be big enough? Though I could extend it out to here. Kind of with like little walkways off to the sides there. See what it looks like. Did it again. Really need to wait to add these wonky walls in the inner, like, stabling until later. But yes, it's looking good, fam. Looking really good. Sadly, though, we do have to wrap up the stream for the day. So, we at least have the framework of the house and the stables. We'll add some windows next time, and we'll kind of flesh out each floor one at a time in the entryway here. I'm thinking of putting little camping spots that are like separated where you can park your wagon and like set up camp, right? Yeah, the point was to make kind of a crazy structure. There's going to be a balcony up here eventually too that has like a place to like kind of scope it. We're going to put some pillars in here. I put them earlier and they've been deleted multiple times. So I'm going to wait till we've done like all the shaping of the buildings before we add pillars again. But I wanted this to feel like, you know, if it's the last stop for hundreds of miles, you know, it'll feel kind of like a combination between like a general store, like a tourist trap and a truck stop. You know what I mean? It's made out of salvaged wood, you know, used from, you know, crates and wagons and anything they can find and haul out with them. It'll have an inn at the top here, which I'm going to divert this into different rooms, kind of parcel it out into segmented rooms. And then possibly have like a little tavern up top. And then we'll have the shop here, right? The general store with like kind of the tourist souvenir section and also general store section, and then like a handful of little magic items, like 2 or 3 of them. Maybe, you know, a traveler sold one in need, you know, they were in need and needed supplies, so they had to sell. Back here will be like hay and tack and stuff like that. We're gonna update the flooring to match here shortly. In fact, I'll probably just do this stamped earth here right now as well. Put in like, you know, a few things around, hanging stuff on walls and little things to grab, but it'll be really nice when all's said and done. I kind of want to put in these walls again, but every time I do something, I delete them, so I'm probably going to wait. Or at least just have like one of them so I know what's what. You know, I was thinking too, there are the like wonky half walls, I believe. Nope, there's not. Are these like the closest to freestanding half walls for wonky? I guess we could stack them too high, but no, they have these. That's it. I was thinking you could have some of these and then some of this stuff on top of it, and then that. So it's like one of them would be a little bit shorter here. Something like that. It's a good idea between a couple of the stalls at least. I don't think this one is the one I want to do it on, but I'm thinking this one right here because they're equally spaced. So like if they have a pair of horses that are friendly to each other or some animals that like know each other, they can have them next to each other where they can see. And if they need them all in a single, thing or they're too large, they can fit in some of the larger ones. We could even make this one a double. Like a double gate. Let's see here. Because we've got some that are just a little bit larger. And that way we can like, oh, this is a very big animal back here, right? What do you think? So this could just be one big pen instead of it split like it used to be, because I had one here, right? But now it's just like one big one. So it kind of has like an angle to get in and rotate, which seems kind of natural. I don't know what I'm talking about. To be honest, I'm just guessing. But between these ones, I could do that little shorter wall. So it would be like, couple of those, and maybe like one of these, or one of these. Looks pretty good. So these are ideal stalls for animals with low temperament or know each other. Anyway, I think this is looking really good. I'm going to save this and we're going to wrap up the stream, everyone. We'll dive back into this next week. By the way, Highland Lass, thank you for your insight on, stables, stalls, stuff of that nature. I will do, some hay and some saddles and other stuff back here. Things hanging on the wall, stuff like that, a shovel, a bucket. We'll add some lighting. We'll move on to the next floor. But this is looking really good so far. I'm going to flatten this out a little bit. Then we'll make like a pathway. Maybe even add like a flooring here. But I love this as like a window that you would go up to like at like if you went to like a drive-through, like a drive-through window, or if you went to like a like an impound lot. Look at it, even opens. I love it. We'll add a little pathway here. What looks like a cat? A cat? I'm gonna put a stool here just for halflings too. Like a little stepping stool. Might just be seeing things. I'm not sure what you're seeing because I didn't stylize anything to look like a cat at all. Okay, so next time on Mapmaker Monday, we'll be adding windows, pathways, lighting, and then we'll start diving into decorating the shop. But we do have, I think, a really nice floor plan, and it's just like a sort of like a tourist trap / rest stop in the middle of nowhere that has just a little bit of everything you need, but at a premium price. You know what I mean? We'll add some pillars underneath here and there, under the patios and in different spots underneath the, covered roofing, like, or shaded spots on the roofing. But we're going to wait until we have all the rooms kind of parceled before we do that. But I like that we've got, small, medium, even up to large and extra large stabling. It's pretty cool. Is these the things you were talking about for separation, right? Yeah, they're pretty neat. Just looks too fancy for this place, you know what I mean? Those are look a little bit better, but I kind of like the idea of how we have them separated for privacy. Just putting a bit of hay here so I have a mental, like, visual reminder for next session, what I'm working on. I might change this arch to something else. There's only a few wonky ones, but I could go one that's like larger, right? Let's take a look at this in first person. Yes. Very nice. That is far too high for sure. I'm going to bring that down the wall later. I like it. So far, it's looking really good. Yeah, no, I believe you suggested them, and that's why they were made in the first place, for sure. I think it's looking pretty epic. Let's save, and we're going to wrap up for the day. All right, everyone. Thank you for participating in today's Mapmaker Monday stream. Had a lot of fun hanging out with you. We got a lot of progress on this build. Like, the entire structure is pretty much done, aside from, parceling out rooms inside and decorating. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I will be back on Saturday with our next Dam show, or Dungeon Alchemist map making show, as we call it. Now, keep in mind, this upcoming Dungeon Alchemist map making show is the Dam Challenge, which is shop. So your deadline is rapidly approaching. So you have between now and Friday the 6th, end of day in your time zone, so until 11:59 p.m. in your time zone, to submit your entry to our Discord in the Dam Challenge channel. Make sure you follow the rules pinned at the top of the channel and submit your entry before the deadline so you qualify. If your entry qualifies, you have a chance to win a $10 Hero Forge gift card, and your map is the first map featured if it's the winning map. So, also it's featured in our weekly newsletter. So you get a lot of eyes on your work, a lot of recognition, get to flex your map maker muscle against the cartographer community. Now, our next following Dam show, Dungeon Alchemist map making show, 2 weeks basically from now. So the 14th, so the Valentine's Day, we have an interview with a very special guest, Geronimo, one of our very prolific and long-term map makers. He makes some of the most mind-bending builds on the workshop, and he's also been kind of pushing the envelope of what Dungeon Alchemist can do, been at the forefront of, requesting features based around what Dungeon Alchemist can do with workarounds, and kind of making, essentially, we call it CRAM, creative asset misuse, in ways that makes, the devs want to make features and assets that fill those voids. Very, very, yeah, it's a date with Geronimo, if you will. So him and I will be hanging out, and we'll be answering your questions on the stream and discussing his map making techniques and experience and what got him into map making, etc. No worries if you can't make it, but otherwise, though, just make sure you're aware of those upcoming streams. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is available on Steam. There is a demo, so you can try it out, give it a little test drive before you buy it, to make sure it runs on your computer and does what you're expecting. Thank you again for attending. We'll see you on Saturday with the Dam Challenge stream. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and we're going to end the stream. Thank you again. Mac out. Bye. Bye.
But can it handle curves?
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 Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map-making application for role-playing games, now comes with both round and diagonal walls. Create amazing professional maps for your players in seconds. Get it now on the Steam store.